Hey guys, and welcome to Popcorn with Spice, the channel that gives you more into movies and series. Today we're going to be talking about some of the moments that made us cry in the SpongeBob SquarePants series, so let's get started. The SpongeBob SquarePants series was chock full of funny, classy, and memorable moments. And this series even had its fair share of controversial moments as well, but these are not the topics we're going to be discussing today. Because today we are going to take a brief insight into some of the saddest moments of the SpongeBob series. Bear in mind, these moments were all decided by SpongeBob fans in multiple surveys, and they are all listed at random to ensure an unbiased list. So grab yourself a tissue and get ready to cry your eyes out, because here are some of the saddest episodes in the SpongeBob series. Bummer Vacation. The title itself already suggests that you should buckle up for a sad ride, and the episode didn't disappoint. This episode is a perfect showing of just how much of a workaholic SpongeBob is, and in this case it was actually a problem. In this episode, we were treated with a depressed SpongeBob who was forced to work against his will to go on a break from work by the ever-industrious Mr. Krabs. And our favorite Sponge is so bored out of his mind that he can't even properly have fun. And I believe we can all agree that there's nothing better in this series than watching SpongeBob have fun in what he's doing. And after the struggle to stay away from work and also an attempt to work again under the disguise of Patrick, Mr. Krabs eventually agrees to let him come back to work, at least to create a happy ending even after the cloudy moments of this episode. But I believe the saddest part of this episode is the fact that Mr. Krabs forced SpongeBob to take a vacation just to save a nickel. Yeah, you heard me right. A nickel. SpongeBob, you're fired. This episode has a mostly recycled premise, which is why I decided to talk about it right after the Bummer Vacation episode. And this episode is sad for various reasons. First of all is the fact that SpongeBob got fired by Mr. Krabs just so Krabs could save some coins. A petty thing to do, but definitely one we would expect from Mr. Krabs. At least this time he basically increased SpongeBob's worth from a mere nickel, right? Anyway, the second reason this episode is sad is because of the mood SpongeBob was in for the duration of the episode. He clearly shows that all he wants to do in life is make Krabby Patties and work for Mr. Krabs, from the multiple cooking jobs he got fired from, or replicating their various food and treats into a Krabby Patty. If anything, we should be inspired by how well he recreates a taco into a Krabby Patty. I mean, just look at that. Although Mr. Krabs eventually did hire him back, it's safe to say the damage was already done. And SpongeBob wasn't even the only victim of this episode. In fact, we still can't help but feel sorry for those poor civilians who had to pay Mr. Krabs first before using the restrooms. It's a terrible thing to do, but someone's got to do it, and that person is none other than Eugene Krabs. All That Glitters. A depressing episode full of sadness, regrets, tears, and of course more tears, because our happy Sponge cried quite a lot in this episode, but for good reason. First off, his trusted friend and cooking partner, the spatula, breaks in this episode while he tries to make a monster Krabby Patty. Not only is this loss sad, but what is even more depressing is that SpongeBob had to sell off his clothes just to get a new high-tech spatula to make the order. And of course, not even a high-tech spatula could make the order. In fact, to add insults to injuries, the high-tech spatula even grew legs to run away from SpongeBob. But of course, every kid's show needs a happy ending, and this one definitely had one, with his old spatula coming back to him and the fact that he was once again reunited with his friends. Although, I can tell that the kids failed to notice the sad fact that he never got his clothes back, but we did. Oh, we definitely did. Goodbye, Krabby Patty. This episode is just a simple portrayal of how greed can ruin the world. In this episode, we got to see the ever-so-famous and of course the greediest character in the series, Mr. Krabs, replace the expensive Krabby Patties and use sand as a cheap substitute. In so doing, SpongeBob had to work overtime in making the cheap substance, which limits his playtime with Patrick. And if that weren't sad enough, we also got to see the unsuspecting people of Bikini Bottom throw up sand and grow uncontrollably bigger. But of course, the show had a happy ending, with SpongeBob giving out the correct Krabby Patty that would fix the whole mess. We can clearly say that the key point of this episode is the fact that Krabs was willing to put the lives of his customers at risk just to save and make more money. And if that weren't sad enough, he also shows off the results of his apparently brilliant business plan in our faces when he goes swimming in a gigantic vault of gold coins. Gee, I wonder where they got that from. Best Day Ever. Yeah, you may be wondering how such an innocent title could ever end up being sad. But if there's one thing you should know, well, that would be don't believe everything you see. Because in this episode, literally, the worst things that could happen on a supposedly good day, they actually happen. Starting off with the annoying song at the beginning of the episode, to SpongeBob missing work because a group of nematodes literally ate the restaurant, to him making his friend Sandy mad because he broke her glass house, to sacrificing his net while jellyfishing with Patrick, to him. Look, we could go on and on about how much of a bad day it was, but that would only make us even more sad, so let's just leave it at that and accept the happy ending that came after such a bad day. His friend recreates a good day. SpongeBob's Last Stand. This is a personal choice sad episode because of what it represents, not just in the cartoon, but also in the real world. In this episode, we basically got to see quite a lot of passion from both SpongeBob and Patrick when their beloved jellyfish fields were about to be completely destroyed. The pair would eventually go on a movement to save not only the green life, but also the innocent jellyfish. From being shunned by the people of Bikini Bottom to even being arrested by the police, they proved that nothing can break their spirit and motion to save the jellyfish fields. And even when the fields seemed to almost be at the end of complete annihilation, we still got a happy ending because the efforts of both SpongeBob and Patrick did pay off in the end. And the result was a complete return of the jellyfish fields back to its glory days. And that's it for the saddest episodes in the SpongeBob SquarePants series. But wait, because there are way more sad episodes in SpongeBob, we decided to make another video about it. Leave a comment down below and guess which episodes will be included in the next one. And don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel for more awesome content just like this. And always, thanks for watching.